It is time. Not Vader time, but it is time to get out of pocket. I'm your host, Michael Davis. Super excited to be with you guys today as we are live on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. Out of Pocket's been around for 2 years. We ain't going anywhere. And we are right here on Boom Broadcasting, our new home. If you haven't decided to join us yet, please go subscribe to Out of Pocket. This is your home for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're always live, and we got quite a show for you. So we are doing things just a tad bit differently today. So I wanted to explain exactly what we're doing. Okay, so usually, if you've watched Out Pocket in the past, it's usually a panel, either myself and 2 to 3 others, and we have a great time. It's always a blast. Okay, but I want to do one thing a little bit different. One, I wanted to give you guys the opportunity. Usually I have a full list of topics I want to hit and everything, but this is 2 days before my birthday. It's 2 days before my birthday. I want to interact and engage with you guys, okay? I always get to hear the opinions of my panelists. They do an awesome job. They take time out of their busy schedules to hop on Out Pocket. I really appreciate them. But I also appreciate you guys. So this entire episode is going to be for your Q&A. Now, if you don't have any burning questions, I do have content for you because the NFL season starts a week from Thursday. We're 9 days away from sports happening. So if you want to throw in your basketball questions, your baseball questions, your football, wrestling, anything you want, this episode is for you. And in the gaps to fill, I will be sharing my official NFL predictions for the 2024 NFL season. I'm actually pretty excited about that because if you followed Out Pocket on socials in the past, you will know that we always did Top Tier Tuesday, our top quarter rankings. What we did would we would rank the top 8 NFL teams. So we are going to share those top 8 NFL predictions. We're going to share the bottom 8 NFL predictions. But you know what? We're going to give you the whole layout for the division. So you sports gamblers out there can make some money and then send me tithe. Send me 10% of your earnings. But that is what we will be doing on Out of Pocket today. So I'm hosting, I'm producing, I'm fielding in your questions, I'm promoting on social media. I'm doing the whole 9 yards. Right. And we are going to be starting with a certain division that I want to highlight here in today's show. And I'm going to bounce back a little bit from division to division. And we are going to start with, are you ready for this? The AFC East. My predictions for the 2024 NFL season are as follows. I think the New England Patriots are going to finish 4th. There is controversy. There is question marks on who is your starting quarterback. And to me, that matters. Okay, the Patriots also offloaded Matthew Judon. That is a huge issue for me. Okay, so you have a first-year head coach who is a defensive guy, was just a position coach under Bill Belichick. We've never seen Bill Belichick coaching trees have much success at all. I mean, let's just talk about Brian Flores with the Miami Dolphins and how that worked out. Brian Billick didn't work. Like there are several, Bill O'Brien. There are so many different guys who have worked closely with Bill Belichick, and once they got on their own, especially in this football culture we have right now, they haven't done really well. New England Patriots finished dead last in that division. The New York Jets are my third team. I was really high on the Jets last year, especially adding Aaron Rodgers, and it felt like they were getting the team like custom made for number 12, now wearing number 8 in another green jersey. Again, followed the Brett Favre path of going from the Packers to the Jets. I'm just waiting for Aaron Rodgers to go and play for the Minnesota Vikings. How fantastic would that be? So I really love the defense. I love that Breece Hall's coming back. Breece is also coming back from injury, as well as Aaron Rodgers. They have Garrett Wilson. They got Tyron Smith, and Tyron Smith is a great pass protector, but Tyron Smith is also known to be hurt several times. I, as a Cowboys fan, have experienced that myself. So the Jets finished number 3. And then you have your Buffalo Bills. I am waiting, and I've predicted this for 3 years, and I've been wrong. And this 4th year is going to be different because Buffalo's not winning this division. There's going to be a drop-off. Josh Allen just lost his number 1 target in Stephon Diggs. Keon Coleman, I think he's going to do a fantastic career. I would target him if you're in fantasy football drafts. I'd target him if you're in a dynasty draft. But it's not going to be enough because Buffalo finished 2nd, which means the Miami Dolphins are going to win the AFC East. People keep mad respecting Tua Tagovailoa. People keep hating on the Dolphins, hating on the coach, saying Tyreek Hill's not the best wide receiver in football. And I'm just like, guys, do you know how much speed is on the Miami Dolphins right now? Do you know that they put together a pretty good year last year? You got Tua, you got Mostert, you got Chain, you drafted Jalen Wright, the running back from Tennessee. Odell Beckham will miss the first 4 games. I don't think they'll miss him because you got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, you got Jonnu Smith. And then you look at the defense. They went out and got Calais Campbell. You look at that secondary of Jalen Ramsey's healthy, if Kendall Fuller's healthy, Bradley Chubb, if he's healthy. Like, there is talent on this team, and I love the innovative thinking that the Miami Dolphins have. And so the Miami Dolphins are my pick to win the AFC East. Let's go to the AFC North. Okay? My picks right here, I think Pittsburgh finishes dead last. Much like the New England Patriots, not knowing who you're going to start between Drake May and Jacoby Brissett, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a similar issue. They don't know if they're going to they don't know if they're going to start Justin Fields. Are they going to start Russell Wilson? They made deals to go get both of them on this roster, and we're on August 27th, and we have no idea who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have not made a deal as of right now, as of this moment, to go and acquire Brandon Ayuk. I do believe that deal is any day now. It could happen as very well as us being on air live on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. I believe Pittsburgh could, finish 4th. And you look at the rest of the division, you have the Cleveland Browns. I think they finished 3rd in this division. I'm going to go ahead and say in a Cowboys shirt that the Cleveland Browns might defeat the Dallas Cowboys week 1. That's something I am concerned about. I'll talk about that more on Dad and the Boys episodes. I'll talk about that more on future Out of Pockets, especially as we get closer to that game. But the Cleveland Browns, if they were in the AFC South, if they were in the NFC South, maybe they win that division. But I just don't trust the quarterback again, Deshaun Watson. We haven't seen Deshaun Watson actually do good since coming to Cleveland, since he had that year off of football. And it's just more and more questions come up when it comes to that offensive side of the ball. Nick Chubb, he's going to miss the first 4 games. Is he going to be healthy at any point this NFL season? I think the Cleveland Browns finished 3rd. Number 2, I got the Cincinnati Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. I love the Cody Rhodes type of Joe Burrow look right now. I love Jamar Chase, but that's it. T. Higgins doesn't want to be there. You look at the rest of that team, the defense, it's shaky at best at times. And the Cincinnati Bengals are not the Baltimore Ravens. The biggest mistake of the offseason wasn't entirely by the Dallas Cowboys, but they had a role to play in it. The biggest mistake of any NFL team, all other 31 NFL teams, was not throwing money at Derrick Henry, if not to just get him on your team, but to keep him away from the Baltimore Ravens and to keep him away from Lamar Jackson, because the Baltimore Ravens have had an issue over Lamar Jackson's tenure. They have not had an elite running back. They've had a running back by committee, and those running back by committees were serviceable at times. But these running backs they were getting were not built to outlast the NFL season. They would get hurt. They would lose momentum. J.K. Dobbins, for example, Gus Edwards, for example. Like there were so many different Ravens running backs in that backfield where people were worried about Lamar passing the ball. People were worried about Lamar running the ball. People were worried about the option, but they knew if Lamar had handed it off, they could get the other running back down pretty easily. That's not going to be the situation now. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the option game, that's almost game over for the rest of the league. You don't even have to tell me that the Baltimore Ravens also have Mark Andrews to throw to, have Isaiah Likely. They have Zay Flowers on the outside. Rashad Bateman, I'm not entirely concerned about Nelson Aguilar. Not concerned about him whatsoever. But he's there. They have a good offensive line, Tyler Linderbaum, Ronnie Stanley, and then the defense under John Harbaugh is always going to be top-notch, led by Roquan Smith, Justin Madubuike. You look on that backside, you got Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams. Like, guys, this is scary when you think about what the Baltimore Ravens could be. And if Derrick Henry's healthy, if Lamar Jackson is healthy, then you better load up the box and then hope that one of these receivers drops the ball. That's what we're looking at right now. When it goes to the AFC South, we've covered the AFC East, we've covered the AFC North. When it comes to the AFC South, it's pretty obvious who's going to finish last in that division. There's no question in my mind. It's the team that Derrick Henry played for last year and decided to replace him with Tony Pollard, who didn't do that great when Ezekiel Elliott wasn't there. It's the Tennessee Titans. Again, there's quarterback questions when it comes to the last place team in their division. Is Will Levis going to be the guy? Is the Mayo Monster going to be the guy? I don't know. I really don't know. But you know what? They did trade away Malik Willis, their third-round pick back in 2022, for what, like a 7th-round pick? Like, that, where did you get the compensation there? You should have threw it in a trade generator like all you fantasy football owners right now to make sure it was actually a fair trade. So I got the Tennessee Titans finishing last. It's just a really poorly run organization. Yes, they have DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, they have Calvin Ridley. Tyler Boyd, not terribly bad. They have some pieces on defense. They have Cheeto Awuzie. They have Quandre Diggs. They have Roger McCreary, who I'm really high on. But it's just a really poorly run organization. And in my opinion, some of these bigger names are probably getting traded at the deadline. So I got Tennessee 4th in the AFC South. Going 3rd, I got the Indianapolis Colts. Is Anthony Richardson going to stay healthy? Everybody's raving about his talent, about his potential, but the greatest ability, especially in the NFL, is availability. Now, I do like some of the pieces in Indianapolis. I do like Adonai Mitchell. I do like him. I think that is going to be good. Pairing him up with Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman was the only guy in Indianapolis last year. Jonathan Taylor, is he going to remain healthy? Quentin Nelson, pretty great guard, one of the best guards in the NFL. The Colts defense, outside of Forrest Buckner, I mean, I'm not scared. I'm not scared about the Indianapolis Colts defense. And so you're telling me they have to stop Trevor Lawrence, they have to stop CJ Stroud, and we'll talk on those two teams here soon. Indianapolis Colts finished 3rd. Number 2, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars finishing second in the AFC South. Now, I will say this. Everybody's trashing Trevor Lawrence like, oh, what has he done? What has he done? What has he done? Trevor Lawrence needs y'all to back off. Okay? You need to put some respect on this guy's name because he is super talented. Super talented. Trevor Lawrence is the guy. Okay? Just point blank. Trevor Lawrence is the guy. I would take Trevor Lawrence over Justin Herbert in a heartbeat. I would take that deal. Trevor Lawrence over Justin Herbert. You look at his options on offense, it's very thin. Can Travis Etienne, his former Clemson Tiger teammate, can he stay healthy? Christian Kirk, can he stay healthy? Gabe Davis, coming from Buffalo. That's another reason why I feel like Buffalo takes a step back. How does he do with connection with Trevor Lawrence? Brian Thomas Jr., how does he do? Evan Ingram, can he actually catch the ball? I mean, I've seen Evan Ingram play. I'm just, But you look at that defense, and they could be salvaged because they got Darnell Savage in the back. They got a great defensive front, one of the best defensive fronts, underrated. You got Josh Hines-Allen. You got Eric Armstead. You got Trayvon Walker. You got Devin Lloyd at linebacker. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars can do enough to make the second seed in their own division and then potentially push for one of the later wild cards, either 6 or 7 when it comes to the playoff time. And Houston Texans number 1. So I want to go ahead and put this out there. The Houston Texans, let's be honest. They have C.J. Stroud. I, last year, was on record of saying C.J. Stroud wasn't walking into an ideal situation, and I was wrong. C.J. Stroud walked into the best possible situation. D'Amico Ryans put him in position to succeed. Other people around him were hungry enough to step up. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz was serviceable. You look at that defense, and they were playing hard for D'Amico Ryans. Quarterbacks are, let's just be honest, quarterbacks are in jeopardy when it comes to their sophomore year. It's like they have a really great freshman rookie year, and then they have the sophomore slump. And we saw that from Robert Griffin III. We saw that from several other different quarterbacks. Once teams have tape of you, then you run the risk of them figuring you out. Here's why I don't think that will happen with C.J. Stroud. 1, Joe Mixon. 2, Stephon Diggs. You just gave this guy 2 of the top 5 to 7 players at their position, and they're both veterans. Joe Mixon has played in a Super Bowl. Stephon Diggs has played late in the playoffs and stepped up in big moments. And you give that to a second-year quarterback in an easier division, and he's going to run away with it. I think the Houston Texans are a team to be reckoned with, and a team that's not reckoned with, let's be honest, the Las Vegas Raiders. I was talking to my good friend, Darian Hopkins. He does the Darian Hopkins Sports Show, and you guys should check him out. He's doing really good stuff. And he started to sell me on the Las Vegas Raiders and everything. And I'll just be honest, I don't love Gardner Minshew over Aiden O'Connell. I saw spurts from Aiden O'Connell. Gardner Minshew, yes, good touchdown to interception ratio, but I think Aiden O'Connell has that X factor. Gardner Minshew has Devontae Adams, one of the best wide receivers, but he doesn't like it there. I know Devontae Adams wants to get traded. Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, 2 top tight ends. That's probably the best 1-2 punch when it comes to the tight end duo. Defense, you have Max Crosby. You have Christian Wilkins. But if you look back, and I don't look at preseason games as a way to discredit anybody, but you look at that preseason game where the Raiders were playing their first string up against the Cowboys' second string team, and the Raiders struggle. How are you supposed to actually compete in the AFC West, in the AFC, and in the NFL if Your first string is losing to another team's second string in preseason. That's unacceptable to me. I think the Las Vegas Raiders are fourth. Now, I would have put them above this team, but I like Antonio Pierce. He should have gotten that job to begin with. But if I had to pick Antonio Pierce or Jim Harbaugh, I'm taking Harbaugh 9 out of 10 days. And 2 of those 9 days are on Sunday because that's when we play football. The other day was Saturday because Jim Harbaugh just, dominated college football at Michigan this past year. I think the Los Angeles Chargers finished third. And I'm really low on Justin Herbert. If you've listened to the show before, you understand my opinion on Justin Herbert. I'm not going to go into it anymore unless you guys want to throw in a question right there. But Justin Herbert lost all his receivers. He lost all his options. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins coming into the team other than Austin Eckler. Well, Edwards and Dobbins stay hurt. You got Keenan Allen, who's gone. Mike Williams, who's gone. Now you're left with Joshua Palmer, Ladd McConkey, DJ Chark. I mean, these are, unless Brendan Rice puts it all together, unless Simi Fehoko puts it all together, unless second-year receiver Quentin Johnston puts it all together, they don't have much. Now, I will say, probably 2 of the best tackles in the league, Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, when it comes to tackles pairing together. That's formidable. Joey Bosa on the defense, but is he going to stay healthy? Khalil Mack, is he going to stay healthy? Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James Jr., 2 serviceable defensive backs. Jim Harbaugh, one of the best coaches. I just don't foresee the Los Angeles Chargers winning this division. I think they place third. Now, it wasn't until a couple weeks ago that I switched all this up, but watching Bo Nix with the Denver Broncos makes me believe that the Denver Broncos finished second in the AFC West. If you just go onto YouTube and watch Bo Nix preseason highlights, you can see it's there. I was on my way back from a independent wrestling show this past Sunday, and my buddy was, watching Bo Nix highlights with me. I was like, why did we hate on this guy? I didn't hate on the guy. Everybody was like, oh, you can't win Bo Nix, Bo Nix, Bo Nix. Oh, why'd Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos draft him 12th overall? He could have gotten the second or the third round. When you know you have your guy, you have your guy. And Bo Nix looks to be that guy. I look at what's around him. There's not much. Javonte Williams, can he stay healthy? Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, not top guys. Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims. The offensive line looks a little bit shaky. There's not entirely much to think about here. But the Denver Broncos have Drew Lock? No. Do the Denver Broncos have Russell Wilson? No. Do the Denver Broncos have Zach Wilson? Yes, it's their third string. But the Denver Broncos have Bo Nix. And Podcast Smitty, I believe. Also, it is Top Rope Tuesday. Shout out to Uncle Howdy, a.k.a. Bo Dallas, for wrestling, making his debut as Uncle Howdy inside the ring last night for Monday Night Raw. That was fantastic. I hopped on the nightcap with Mouth Off with Mike to do that, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely enjoyed it, loved it. Thank you, Podcast Smitty. I do believe. All right, so Denver finishing second in this division. I'm calling it now. And the Kansas City Chiefs, is there even a question? Kansas City Chiefs, I got them winning this division. I got them finishing really high, and I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. When it comes to my next division, I'm going to go ahead and, say, well, we'll cover the NFC East last, just because I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. What we're going to do is we're going to cover the NFC North, because it's pretty obvious who's finishing fourth in that division. It's the team that drafted another rookie quarterback first round, and he's out for the year, unfortunately, torn meniscus. J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota Vikings finished fourth in that division. No surprise. Starting Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, hopefully fantasy owners get still good production out of him, as am I. That's somebody I have on my fantasy team. You can catch that fantasy football auction draft we did live on demand via the Broadcasting YouTube channel. Minnesota finishes 4th. I'm going to get hate from this. And the guy who hosts the Lombardi Party on Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock p.m., might disagree, but the Green Bay Packers finished 3rd in that division. I just don't trust Jordan Love yet. And you shouldn't either, because he got a massive contract with just a small sample size. You look at the rest of that team, and Josh Jacobs, really good running back. I love that pickup. I wish Dallas had picked him up. Marshawn Lloyd, currently hurt, questionable to play week 1. A.J. Dillon is on IR. He is out for the season. And then you look at the receiving core. You got Christian Watson, who blew up at the end, catching all these touchdowns. You got Romeo Doubs. You got Jaden Reed. You got Dontavian Wicks. But all of these guys would look like all-stars with Aaron Rodgers in his prime was throwing them the ball. I don't see anything special out of these guys. Offensive line, okay, sure. Defense is where they're going to keep their money. You got Kenny Clark. You got Rashawn Gary on the line. You got Jair Alexander. You got Xavier McKinney on the back end. But the Green Bay Packers just compete in a tough division. So I think Jordan Love gets exposed this year, and I think the Green Bay Packers finish 3rd. Carson will be upset about that. My guy, Bully Rye, he does the show Tap Outs and Touchdowns on his own YouTube channel. He's going to be bad at this. I got Detroit finishing 2nd in the NFC North. Detroit, very talented team. But when your head coach stands at the podium after following their playoff exit in the NFC Championship game, and he says, guys, that was probably our best chance. Guys, there's no guarantee we make it back here, which is true for any NFL team. But the Detroit Lions finished 2nd in this division in the NFC North. Podcasts may say the NFC North has potential to be a gauntlet. That's why I'm saying I don't consider this a slight. People are going to be like, oh, you're talking trash about the Packers and the Lions. No. That's not the case. NFC North is a tough division. There's no shame finishing 2nd in this division, and that's what I see from Detroit. Also, Detroit took people by surprise. I called it last year, but they took most of the NFL by surprise. People didn't expect them to be the 3rd best team in the NFC. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Jamison Williams. You have Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery as your running backs. You have Sam Laporta, who's emerging as a player. You have a really stout offensive line, really great defense. Aiden Hutchinson rushing the passer. Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone. You got guys. Brian Branch. I love watching him, except when he's playing my Cowboys. Don't love it that time. You got guys. You got dudes. You're going to make the playoffs, but you're not winning the division. The winners of the NFC North, you're seeing it scroll on the bottom right now, are the Chicago Bears. Guys, we need to be talking about the Chicago Bears. I mean, why are we not talking about the Chicago Bears? They were not the worst team in the NFL last year, but they made a deal with the Panthers, and that ended up being the 1st overall pick. The Chicago Bears the Chicago Bears just fleeced the entire NFL. They finished 7-10 last year. They were 7-9 before that last game against Green Bay. They did this with Justin Fields, who hasn't outright won the position in Pittsburgh away from Russell Wilson, who's on the decline. And you give Caleb Williams, a rookie quarterback, a veteran running back in DeAndre Swift. Khalil Herbert, still very serviceable. You got DJ Moore, a really, really, really good wide receiver. You also got in that Panthers trade. You give him a veteran receiver in Keenan Allen, who Keenan Allen is not expected to be the number 1 guy in his own team. That's what was the problem in LA with the Chargers. He would get hurt a lot. You have Keenan Allen. Even if he's hurt, he's given knowledge to DJ Moore, and rookie Rome Odunze. You got Cole Kmet. You got Gerald Everett. You even got Mercedes Lewis. I mean, there's guys on that offense that makes me look like, wow, the Chicago Bears couldn't put their number one overall pick, a guy who is a generational talent. They couldn't have put him in a better position. And you look on the defensive side, trading for Montez Sweat last year at the deadline. You got DeMarcus Walker. You got TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. You got Jalen Johnson, who's one of the better corners in the NFL. You got Kevin Byard, who's a veteran in the defensive backfield. The Chicago Bears are about to tell people, hey, we're here, and we're here for a long time. That's what you have to be afraid of with the Chicago Bears. When it comes to the NFC South, the NFC North is loaded. The NFC South is pick your poison. This is ugly. The New Orleans Saints will finish fourth in this division. Do not trust Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen will probably be the first head coach let go mid-year, and I don't wish people lose their job, but it's Derek Carr with a really old Alvin Kamara. Chris Olave is great. Outside of that, there's nothing on that offense. Defensively, you got Cameron Jordan, who's getting up there in age. You got Demario Davis. Demario Davis also getting up there in age. He'll be 36 this year. And you got Tyrann Mathieu. You got Marshawn Lattimore. And then you have nothing. The New Orleans Saints are going to be a terrible team this year, and they may get some cupcake games in their own division, but in terms of competing with everyone else, the Saints will not be there. Number 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers did good last year. They won their division. They're not going to repeat this year. Baker Mayfield loses Dave Canales, which you might see where I'm going with this. He has Rachaad White. He has Mike Evans. He has Chris Godwin. Jalen McMillan, not even a bad pickup. Has a serviceable left tackle in Tristan Wirfs. You look at the defensive side, you got Vita Vea, you got Logan Hall, Levante David. Levante's also getting up there. He's 34. He'll be 35 this upcoming January. You got Antoine Winfield Jr. You got Jordan Whitehead. But I'm just not seeing Baker continuing to progress. And we saw a little drop off from Geno Smith last year when it came to what they were doing. The Seattle Seahawks finished 9-8. Not terrible, not bad in the NFC West, but I see a similar drop off for Baker Mayfield without Dave Canales playing for him. Second, I got the Atlanta Falcons, and I have made some terrible remarks in regards to the Falcons. I feel like they had the worst head coach hire of this year. I dropped that article on Fans First Sports Network, that their website, fansfirstsports.com. And we'll be posting maybe another article or two before the month's over on my birthday week. The Atlanta Falcons probably are just, they just have talent. And they have Kirk Cousins, but if Kirk isn't healthy, they have Michael Penix Jr. They have Bijan Robinson, who hopefully does better than he did last year. Tyler Algier. The problem with Bijan Robinson, and this is the only way that I will say Raheem Morris was an upgrade head coach, is if Raheem Morris is actually like, hey, let me hand the ball off to my first round pick, Bijan Robinson. Let me do that. That was why Atlanta lost a lot of their games last year. They were my pick to win the NFC South last year, but they just wouldn't run the ball with Bijan. If you feed that man, he's going to keep you in games. And Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr., heck, if worse comes to worse and both are hurt, Taylor Heineke Jr., it can give you guys a chance. Kyle Pitts, we'll see how he does. Drake London, we'll see how he does. Darnell Mooney can make a play a time or two. Going and acquiring Matthew Judon, going and acquiring Justin Simmons to pair with Jesse Bates, by the way. 2 really good additions on that defensive side. Grady Jarrett still on the Atlanta Falcons. I take them second. First, give me the Carolina Panthers. I don't know why I'm saying that. other than you got Bryce Young in his second year. You have Dave Canales, the new head coach, who fixed Geno Smith in a year, who fixed Baker Mayfield in a year, won their division, won the NFC South last year with Baker Mayfield, and now he comes in, giving Bryce Young help. Andy Dalton's there as a veteran presence. Jonathan Brooks will be back around week 5, week 6 from injury. Chuba Hubbard's there right now. You got Deontay Johnson coming in from Pittsburgh. You got first round pick Xavier Legette coming in. You still got the veteran and Adam Thielen. You got Jonathan Mingo. Let's see what he can produce. Then you have Akeem Ekwonu. Maybe he has a better year with Damian Lewis helping them on that side. You got Robert Hunt on the other side. Defensively, you still have Derek Brown. Shaq Thompson, we'll see what he does. Josie Jewell, I think, is a very underrated signing. We'll see how Jadeveon Clowney does. Some people are higher on him than others. They may have that South Carolina Gamecock bias. That's okay. And we'll see what happens when it comes to the defensive backs. Can J.C. Horn stay healthy? Can Dane Jackson? I think he's on IR right now. Anthony Brown, IR. Like there's some things to do in the defensive backfield, but the Carolina Panthers win that division. Again, there's Q&A. I told you guys I'd give you my NFL predictions throughout this episode. Carson Williams bringing in brighter future, CJ Stroud or Jordan Love. My guy is going to rip me on his Lombardi Party podcast tomorrow, 6 p.m. Boom Broadcasting's YouTube channel. I'm giving it CJ Stroud. And people know how I feel about CJ Stroud once upon a time. But the way the Houston Texans have surrounded him makes me fully confident in CJ Stroud's ability. Bringing in Joe Mixon, bringing in Stephon Diggs, Jordan Love, we've had a smaller sample size than we did of CJ Stroud. So I need another half season to actually give credit to Jordan Love and see what he does without A.J. Dillon, see what he does with Josh Jacobs, who's a really great running back, to see what he does with Christian Watson, and, you know, the list goes on, Wicks, Reed, see what he does. And I'll reserve further judgment about mid-season this year. And maybe that's out of pocket, but let's be honest, I'm never out of pocket. So give me CJ Stroud on that question from our good friend Carson, the host of the Lombardi Party. When it comes to the NFC West, I got the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, Carson saying, but they both played a year. Even if a poor first half of the year, Love stats were better. Oh, we want to play this game. We want to play this game right now. I see where we're at, Carson. I see where you're at. We want to play this game. We want to play this game with CJ Stroud and Jordan Love. And I'll even throw the stats up on the screen. How's that? We'll throw the stats on the screen. We're going to share on our screen. If you're watching live on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel, we're going to use Fantasy Pros website for CJ Stroud versus Jordan Love. We might even maximize that screen right here. Okay, you guys can hopefully see that. It's green bolded. Fantasy, when it comes to fantasy, Jordan Love was better in that regard. More completions, more attempts, percentage, pretty good. Passing yards, pretty even. Yards per attempt in favor of CJ Stroud. More touchdowns, more interceptions by Jordan Love. Less touchdowns, less interceptions by CJ Stroud. Jordan Love used his legs a lot more than CJ Stroud. So I'm actually going to admit, like, these stats are almost close, almost identical. But with 2 less games for CJ Stroud than Jordan Love. Jordan Love picked up his stats later on in the year and had a really good second half of the year. He got hot. I'll compare this to Trevor Lawrence. Not this past year, not in 2023, but in 2022. I'll compare that to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence struggled first half and then got hot. And he was almost unstoppable, just like Jordan Love was last year. And that's why I would say hold off judgment if people are going to start bashing Trevor Lawrence and because, oh, he had a bad year last year, just wait. Just wait for Jordan Love. We'll see what Jordan Love has to offer. When it comes to their schedule, I want to share their schedule based on what we're seeing off ESPN because there's parts of it like, hey, yeah, they could probably do it. But then others, like, let's look. You've got the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 on that Friday. That's going to be a tough game. You got Indianapolis. Indianapolis, if Anthony Richardson's healthy, I could see the Colts, potentially still in a win there. Maybe not. You got Tennessee Titans. That's a dub. Minnesota, that's a dub, especially in Green Bay. LA Rams, that's an L. Carson, as well as I do. Puka Nacua, he's good. Cooper Kupp, he's good. Matthew Stafford, he's good. Sean McVay, he's good. I would take the LA Rams over that. I'd take Sean McVay over Matt LaFleur any day. Arizona Cardinals, that's a win. Like, there's some, dude, this is the game. Houston Texans. I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and say it. Shout out to Carson saying fair, good comp to Trevor Lawrence. I'll go ahead and say it. Sunday, October 20th. Let's mark this date down. We'll do something special, Packers Texans, and if at that point in the season, what would that be? 7 weeks. I would have seen, okay, there's more stuff I have seen of Jordan Love to get a better idea of who he is. And this will be about midway through CJ Stroud's sophomore year, maybe a sophomore slump. I don't see that happening. That this date needs to be marked down to see who can really answer this question, CJ Stroud or Jordan Love. Absolutely love that question by Carson Williams, doing the Lombardi Party tomorrow. That will be at 6:00 p.m. right here on Boom Broadcasting. And he inspired me a little bit. So I was like, hey, this is a couple days before my birthday. Let me do a live stream. Let me give my guests kind of a break. I mean, guys like Carson, guys like Podcast Smitty, hop on every time I can shoot a text in the group chat, shoot them a one-on-one call, and they're like, yep, I'm on, let's go. And Shannon even, tuned in live via satellite from a restaurant, from a vacation trip. Like, he is that dedicated. I got some great content creators, great people to collab with, and that's what we get here with the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. It's absolutely phenomenal what they've been able to do, what they've been able to help out with. It's been awesome. So I was like, hey, you know what we'll do instead? We'll just do a solo. I with Colin Coward. That's how my sports broadcasting came to play, was doing solo stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let me shake off the rust a little bit here and give my NFL predictions and answer questions in the chat, much like Carson did with CJ Stroud or Jordan Love. So shout out to my guy, Carson. NFC West stuff, you see that scrolling on the bottom. I got the Arizona Cardinals finishing 4th. Don't have faith in Kyler Murray. Don't have faith in that. But Marvin Harrison Jr., really good snag there. He's going to get all the targets. He's going to get all the balls. And he might be a good fantasy football option. But that's it. Seattle Seahawks, I'm just seeing regression right there. I just see a team that's standing still. Maybe Mike McDaniel is the answer, and he just brings a whole new bit of innovation to revive the career of Tyler Lockett, to help Kenneth Walker stay healthy, to help Tyler Lockett, help DK Metcalf, to help Jackson Smith and Jigba take that leap in his second year. Ever since Dave Canales left, I'm like, okay, there's not so much special about that. I'm sure Jackson Cordray is going to blow up the comment section, or if he watches this later, he's going to blow up my phone. Either way, Seattle finishes 3rd. LA Rams, just told Carson, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford. The running game, I feel, is overrated. I feel like people are overrating Kyren Williams right now, especially in fantasy, but that's fine. You go draft him. I'll go draft somebody better. Sean McVay is getting closer to not retiring outright, but Sean McVay is getting closer to stepping into the booth, doing some commentary, making a whole lot more money with a Fox Sports with a CBS Sports, with the NFL Network, with the ESPN. Sean McVay, during that Cowboys preseason game, he spent not one but 2 drives on a headset instead of coaching his team, talking to the broadcasters. And he did it once, and I'm like, okay, that was obligated. And then he did it a second time, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. He definitely enjoyed that. He definitely liked that. Maybe Sean McVay, this is his last year coaching. Maybe these rumors we've heard for years and years, and ever since he had that Super Bowl run, maybe it's true. Maybe he takes a year or 2 off. I mean, he sees the Matthew Stafford Super Bowl window closing. Unless he can get somebody in there to where it's like, okay, I feel revived, I feel ready to go. But I feel like with Matthew Stafford's window closing, I feel like with Cooper Kupp, if he can't entirely come back from injury, with Aaron Donald retiring now, I feel like Sean McVay's about to go to the booth for a year or 2 and then wait to see another job open up, maybe even come back to the Rams. That's not entirely out of the question, but see another job open up and then take that one. So Sean McVay might not be the Rams coach next year. That's my personal prediction. And then number 1, San Francisco 49ers. Podcast me, you're watching. I know you love that. Just when it comes to talent, there's not another team in the NFL that has as much talent as the San Francisco 49ers right now. Until Brandon Ayuk gets traded, until Christian McCaffrey goes down with injury, not wishing that on him. Just I know Christian McCaffrey in general. That would be the situation, right? Until they start having to pay these guys, this is their window, and this is their best chance to win a Super Bowl. And just so you know, the 49ers have won a Super Bowl less recently than the Dallas Cowboys. Just FYI. Just FYI. San Francisco 49ers win the NFC West. And then the final division we will cover on Outta Pocket is the NFC East. It has no surprise. I have the Giants finishing 4th. They lost Saquon Barkley to a division rival, and they have Malik Neighbors. I think Neighbors is going to go off as long as Daniel Jones can accurately place the ball, but I don't even have full confidence in that because there's no threat in the running game anymore, and Daniel Jones is going to see that Malik Neighbors is getting double teamed because they don't have another weapon to throw to. Giants, okay-ish on defense, not really. They are going to have an abysmal year. Washington Commanders at number 3. I don't think they've done enough to make that leap to the number 2 or even winning the NFC East. I don't think they've made that leap yet. But they were 4-13 last year. They basically clean house, get a new head coach, get a new quarterback. They got Jane Daniels right now. They got Scary Terry, but they don't have many receivers outside of that because they trade away Jahan Dotson. Again, to your division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. You got Zacchaeus, the wee little man. You got Jamison Crowder. You got Zach Ertz, who's older. And I would much rather have Dallas Goedert over Zach Ertz at this point in their careers. You have Tyler Biadasz to help get this rookie quarterback along, help played with Dak Prescott over in Dallas. And you have a stout defense. Like, if there's anything to fear with Washington, they are going to keep their rookie quarterback in games, and that's so important because they got Clelin Ferrell, they got Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Dorrance Armstrong. That's their starting 4 on that defensive line. You got Dante Fowler in, you got Bobby Wagner, you got Frankie Louvu. What a pick right there. What a pickup right there. You got Jeremy Chin on the back end. You got the worst Michael Davis on that back end as well. I'm the bear, Michael Davis, of course. I would never wear anything resembling Washington Commanders. That's the situation there in the NFC East. And then number 2, I'm between Philadelphia and Dallas. I am going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to win this division. And I hope that I'm not disowned. I hope the door is not locked when I try to go home because Dad does Dad and the boys with me. And I hope the key lock has not changed to my home. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this division. And there's a couple reasons why. First and foremost, the Philadelphia Eagles seem to be the luckiest team in the world. They've made an upgrade at running back, Saquon Barkley. They made an upgrade at their third string receiver, Jahan Dotson, to go along with Devontae Smith, to go along with A.J. Brown. Getting both of those guys from their division rivals. They still have a really stout offensive line. They still have a really good defense. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Devin White. We'll see what he does at the linebacker position. You got Kelly Ringo from Georgia. You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's back. You got Darius Slay. Kenyon Mitchell, not entirely sure. Cooper DeJean, a lot less confident in Cooper DeJean stopping CeeDee Lamb, but it doesn't look like he's going to have to. If they have Ringo, if they have Slay, if they have Mitchell, Slay's probably going to be matched up on CeeDee Lamb if he decides to travel with CeeDee Lamb into the slot. I just feel like the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is the other reason, and I'm saying this wearing a Cowboy shirt, there is never repeat winners of these divisions. And guess who won the division last year after the Philadelphia Eagles crumbled second half of the year? The Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys won that division 12-5 as opposed to Philly's 11-6. I do like what Dallas has. They did re-sign CeeDee Lamb. They have Ezekiel Elliott. They have their goal line back. They have Deuce Vaughn. They have Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott will re-sign before the season begins. Mark my words. You got Jake Ferguson, who's emerging as a tight end. You got an offensive line who's really impressed me. You got a defensive line who's without Sam Williams. I still feel a lot confident in that, even though we did lose Jonathan Hankins. They replaced him with Jordan Phillips. Linval Joseph is still there. Linebacker health is concerning. Secondary health is concerning. We just learned Deron Bland is going to miss at least the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season after foot surgery. But Kalen Carson, a rookie from Wake Forest, he's impressed me. But I just know the Dallas Cowboys won the division last year. There's never repeat division winners, and the Philadelphia Eagles win that one. So my bottom 8 teams, run through these super quick, and then we're going to get out of here. Tennessee Titans, New England Patriots, New York Giants, New Orleans Saints, Arizona Cardinals, Minnesota Vikings, Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Those are your worst 8 teams. I feel like Tennessee is in the worst position possible. New England shortly following that, and then the Giants. And then your top 8 teams. I think San Francisco, this is their best chance for their window. Kansas City Chiefs. Man, the only thing that can stop the Chiefs right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. If they get complacent, and that's why I look at that, standing, and these are based on regular season records. That's not saying the 49ers win the Super Bowl over the Chiefs. That's saying regular season records. I think San Fran finishes higher than the Kansas City Chiefs. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar, Derrick Henry, unstoppable. Miami Dolphins, very underrated. Tua does not deserve the hate that he's getting. Philadelphia and Dallas, I got them neck and neck right there because there is a lot of stuff to look like in Dallas. This division comes to the very end of the season. Chicago, that's my surprise team. And Detroit, still showing love to Detroit. But again, neck and neck with Philly and Dallas, neck and neck with Chicago and Detroit. So there are my NFL standing predictions. I got a great question from Carson. I got a great interaction from Podcast Smitty as well. Both of them drop shows tomorrow. Podcast Smitty with quick hits tomorrow, 9 a.m. Carson with Lombardi Party, 6 p.m. tomorrow. You got Drop the Mic. Drop the Mic, 2 p.m. tomorrow, the 100th episode of Drop the Mic. It's also the day before my birthday, so it's a very special episode. You might see some familiar faces there. And then, of course, we got the nightcap later that evening with Mouthing Off with Mike. But tonight, it's Tuesday night, and Mouthing Off with Mike will do the nightcap later this evening. NXT, I do not know who he's got on. I think Sean from Wrestling of Destiny is going to hop on. That would be absolutely fantastic. But for Out of Pocket, we will be back this Thursday, and Thursday is my birthday. So show up, show out. we'll stack the show, and we can't wait to see you back here on Thursday on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel for Out of Pocket with Michael Davis. We're not going anywhere, so we'll see you back here 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel.